Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Elspeth, and today I'm going to paint a portrait of AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She is the US House representative from New York, and it was her birthday just a week or so ago, October 13th. So yeah, I see her sort of popping in and out of the news quite a lot, and lately she's been the receiving end of attacks from Trump about having low IQ, which really is a compliment. That means he finds her quite threatening, and she must be a bit of a smart cookie. So I mean, she's going to be an easy portrait. What a beautiful face. Why don't we go in and take a look and see if we can find some extra messages from her energy while I paint her. All right, I'll see you on the page. All right, let's open the call with AOC. All right, I've got a crystal here for a little extra support. And today I'm gonna try out a new budget palette that I picked up. I just thought it was really cute, and I thought, I wonder if this works. This would be fun. All right, let's dive into it. So the very first image that I received when I was tuning into the energy of AOC was, I saw her very clearly with her head tossed back, and she was laughing. And I could see her brilliant white teeth, and her hair was sort of tossed back, and she looked very jubilant, very happy. It was like in a work setting, and she was amongst colleagues, and something sort of threw her off guard and caused her to cackle out loud. And I think that speaks to her spirit pretty well. She's natural, she's in the moment, she's clear-sighted, she's very comfortable and seated in her vision and her position, and so she doesn't have to edit, she doesn't have to think through everything like some of her Republican counterparts do, because she's there, she's present, she's in the moment, and she's free to speak honestly and openly because she has very clear directives and strong guidance and very pure intentions. She's here to help, and she's open-minded about what that looks like, but she's very justice focused, and that's one of her wonderful... Oh, did you hear that? Someone just knocked on a door across the hallway. Must be justice knocking. Is that AOC? So I know that her birthday was recently, so that makes her a Libra. We know that Libras are the sign of balance and justice and beauty. And I think she does a pretty good job of encapsulating those qualities. So when I tune into her energy here, she feels poised, she feels engaged, she feels focused, she feels energized. and really locked in the moment, which is very special because I'm sure that her position is very exhausting and very taxing, but her energy feels very strong, and it feels her batteries feel recharged at the moment. It feels like very strenuous work that she's engaged in at the moment. Like, it feels as if presently she is in it feels like a game of chess where the other player has just got up from even sitting at the table. Of course, this must refer to the government shutdown, but that she is looking at the board with a microscope and looking at every possible forward step. So regardless that her opponents are not even at the table playing chess, she is still playing in her mind. She is going through with a fine-tooth comb and microscopic vision at all of the potential actions and consequences and potential moves that could take place and counter moves. So she's still very much playing. And I feel that her mind is very active. So this is like a perfect setting for her, because her overthinking, her ability to overthink all possible outcomes is really put into an excellent purpose. All right. I would like to go into her eyes. So far, these colors are quite fun. This palette. All paints have a different texture, and their ability to part with the pigment and the way that it sits on the paper is different, but so far I'm quite enjoying this. I'm feeling a strong contentment in her family life and her personal life. I feel like her personal relationship is strong. I feel like she one of her challenges feels like to get nutrients and rest to power up. So I'm feeling like a reach for smoothies or something like green juices. I feel like her challenge can be on getting all of the vitamins and minerals she needs to keep feeling physically grounded. And I see that her knitting practice is it's a spiritual practice. It is very helpful and very grounding. And when she does that, I see a whole group of women knitting
right beside her, like ancestors. And there's a collective of women that are supporting her and holding her in protection. She is loved and protected very strongly by a whole army of women. This feels like an ancient circle. It feels like she is carrying the work to fruition for generations. And more, they're like angels or just spiritual presence. They want to join in and rally behind her. She's very, very supported. And this is translating too on a public stage, like when she recently was in New York to support Mamdani. She can feel the energy. It's very palpable in the support for her. She feels that. And it really... she's very charming. She has a very strong charm, but she has a very strong life force, and that's what she connects to in others. She's excellent at spotting, identifying opportunity with high positive outcomes for all involved. She has she's very in tune with her direction, but she's also very discerning. Like, even when she feels that divine guidance, she passes it through many filters. She is very she's in tune, she's intuitive, but she's very analytical. Thank you. Analytical. This is like her artistic process that makes her feel relaxed and engaged, and in the flow is her analysis. She doesn't get into an analysis paralysis. It's more like that's when the engines are firing. She's very proud of her New York roots, and she's very proud to serve. I'm just painting this emblem. I quite like these paints. I'm here to say that a $5 palette of paints is doing the trick. For anyone out there who might feel overwhelmed by starting the process and buying the right paints, they don't have to be right at all. In fact, I've painted with coffee before, and coffee is an excellent paint material. I'll do a painting in coffee next time, maybe. Anyway, I just felt like this palette would be suited to her, but as I paint her little emblem that she's wearing, I feel a very strong pride and loyalty and connection to her roots in the Bronx and the greater New York community. And she feels very grateful to represent such a diverse and strong, open-hearted, big-hearted community. She sees some of the constituents that others are serving, and she feels like that would be a real challenge. Not because they're bad, but just because her constituents are very tapped in, very, cosmopolitan but hardworking and in touch with the world as it is now, not the world from the 1980s, which feels like you know, perhaps some of the groups in the Midwest, for example. Okay, I'm picking up on Puerto Rico. And I'm feeling a spiritual resonance there. And her recent trip there feels like it was very, not just healing, but very energizing. It felt very, energizing for her heart. The longer that she's in the public eye, the more she feels the power of familiarity and trust. She feels like she's outlasting a lot of the negativity that greeted her on her arrival. And it's paying off. And she's really enjoying I'm hearing her say, the privilege of having the chance to refine her path and her message and her presence, and find her people, her community, her village of warriors that she protects and supports and works alongside. I'm feeling Jasmine Crockett now. She's very gracious, and she's humble, and I feel this immense gratitude, even though the hardships. And really, that's why she's here. She was called in because of hardship. She wouldn't be here. Her strong spirit wouldn't be required if we were in an easier time. But she's very privileged to be here, meeting the moment alongside these wonderful people, and to reinvigorate the fight for social justice and the reignition of awareness to these unresolved discrepancies in our culture. And she doesn't just have an eye for injustice, but a strong desire for harmony. So she's forward focused with a strong foothold in the positive. All right, oh wow, I haven't opened these in a while. Let's see. These ones are very old. As I dip into these paints, I'm feeling New York in 1963. And there are all these layers of wishes from the generations in New York that she's a representative of, and she's an ambassador for. And there are so many wishes that fell on deaf ears. And she is picking up on all of these wishes. They're coming to her in the form of inspiration, new ideas, but then they're actually the whispers of many, many generations and many spirits that have crossed over, that are calling her towards these ideas and inspired thoughts. And they're helping her. Okay, these ones are quite hard to get the pigment out of. Let's go towards some other ones. Blot some of that out. Okay, here we go. I don't know if you can hear that, but that's the radiator next to me heating up. I'm sure that's a sound that she's used to in those old apartment buildings in New York. Can you hear that? Let me see if I can turn it up. It's starting to rattle. There's an impatience behind her. It's the impatience of 150 years of New Yorkers, of immigrants mainly, European immigrants. I'm feeling Irish, Polish, Italian, Greek. And she feels this, it's like a gravity, and it compels her forward. She can't help but keep moving forward. She's very selfless. She's remarkable. She's keyed in on self-care because she does understand that she needs to remain poised and focused and clear-eyed to serve effectively. But it's like there's an undertow that she's riding. She's not resisting, she's being carried on it. And it's the undertow of being of service and being that ambassador in a very meaningful way. This doesn't at all feel like a job or career move. It's a life calling, it's a life purpose. And part of that is to, I keep hearing the word ignition. Maybe it's the heater that's turning on. But she realizes that her purpose is not just in getting her job done, but it's being visible in an iconic way. And her visibility is an invitation for others to follow and to clear the way and to wear in the path, to clear the brushes in the path. And although it feels like it's slow moving and backward sliding sometimes, she does see forward motion. She is future oriented, and she can see that this is a very pivotal time in history, but she can see the light at the end of the tunnel. And she's thrilled to be a part of that. It's more on a soul level that she can see that. I mean, sometimes things look very dire, especially there are some really low vibration people walking amongst her. It's physically dangerous. But she feels very well equipped for it. Another reason for her gratitude and her roots. She feels that she's uniquely prepared for this position at this very time. She has the inbuilt muscle memory of 9/11 and just living amongst millions of people and millions of energies. And she is able to consolidate her energy and focus it. She's not thrown off by it. She has learned how to listen to her own guidance very closely because of her upbringing. I feel that some of her guides are very glamorous, and that some of her inspiration as I paint her nails, some of her inspiration to prepare for work and to, you know, select the shades of makeup, or, you know, it feels like I'm feeling the presence of a 1940s glamorous woman who is a New Yorker who's taken AOC under her wing as a, she's stewarding her through the day-to-day as like a personal consultant. And of course, I don't think that AOC feels this or recognizes it at all, but she has so many helpers. She does feel the presence of all the help, but I am picking up a specific woman who is like, oh, she's mine. I take responsibility for her. Yes, I advise and inspire her towards certain color palettes, certain textures, and it's like she reviews the meeting of the days with AOC, and she inspires her towards certain choices. That's so interesting. I see this woman, yeah, in 1940s. It's like a suit with it's like tweed. It's like brown, caramel, khaki, gold threads, olive. She's wearing a hat. She's wearing she's wearing lipstick. She's got a well-fitted blazer and skirt suit and polished heels, but they're sort of not chunky, but they're like solid. And she feels like she's in publishing. And she also was a leader in her field and had to, I'm hearing, it feels like mines, landmines. I guess if it's the 40s, and it feels like she was, this is like 1944 to 1949, seem like very big years for this woman that's around AOC. And she's here as a, what's the word? Starts with C. It's not C. She's part of AOC's entourage. How beautiful. I'm picking up Marjorie Taylor Greene. And I'm actually feeling a kinship's not the word. I'm feeling an interesting, it's like sparring turned to simpatico. Like they actually have similar energetic fields, and at the moment they feel like they're sort of in harmony. They're vibrating on a similar thread, which feels a little jarring to AOC, and honestly AOC felt kind of suspicious, but also now she's sort of not surprised. And I guess it's sort of like, wow, it seems unfathomable that someone could actually be so naive or feel so hoodwinked or tricked, but that's what's happening, and it feels like it's never too late, and welcome to the party. And AOC's challenge is not to hold her past against her, but to welcome anyone who's on the same page for what it's worth in any given moment, knowing that you can't necessarily trust it for more than each topic. But that MTG, which actually, yeah, they both have acronyms, AOC and MTG. They feel like they're getting closer to being on the same team. And they've actually found a little bit of mutual respect. Although she still thinks she's a dipshit. Okay. And she will probably never get past some of those insane propaganda points that she was spouting just a year ago about Biden and his laser I-beams and Democrats controlling the weather. She won't forget about that, but at the same time, anyone who is open to a clear-eyed vision and helping us all move forward is welcome to her. It's like you can't trust. She's like a cut snake. You can't trust her. But she can also see that this is it's like an epidemic of willful ignorance. And she's not just battling individual people, but of course she is as well, who are willingly holding everyone back and imposing suffering, but that she fights a day-to-day battle with willful ignorance, and that she understands that to a degree it's serving a lot of people to remain full buried head in the sand. And it's endlessly frustrating, but that's what she's here for. She's not here to be angry. She is here to improve countless lives of others. She's not here to complain, but she is here to explain. She has endless energy and patience for those willing to open their mind and join her in improvement for collective fairness. I feel her having a long life. I feel like 86. She's going to have a long life. I see her in Puerto Rico visiting many times, and it feels like a spiritual base. I can hear the wind around her, and I can see her looking up at the trees. I see palms being whipped in the wind, and it feels very calming and stabilizing. And she feels the ancient ground. There are certain parts of the world that make her feel really in tune, like a frequency, like actually in tune, not just tuning in, but that she has a frequency like a tuning fork, and it resonates very easily in certain parts of the world. Puerto Rico feels like one of those places when the wind is whipping through the palms, and it's like, it's sort of, she's able to get perspective on her life and her part, because yeah, it's sort of chaotic, but she can feel the calm. Just like in New York, in the subways and the hustle and the bustle, she can tune into the collective calm. That's here what she's bringing us back to that. She's helping a realignment. I feel like there's going to be a shift soon, and it's going to be a changing of the guards moment. It feels like a senior figure, could be Bernie Sanders. It feels like a senior figure, Bernie, could be Biden. But it's a real moment of grief and change, and that she will assume a higher task with more veracity and more velocity, and that it's gonna feel like a moment in war where she has to take on, you know how when Biden stepped aside and Kamala suddenly had to step into the position of running for president? I feel like there's a similar power switch that's imminent. And AOC is going to take the mantle. It's going to be rough. She's going to go from being like the debutante to flexing her strength. And really, she thought that she was going through it before and that she was using her grit, but it's going to get even more focused. But she is in the right place. She is the woman for the job. And she will rally her troops. And she will achieve the fundamentals of what she needs to. And I do see her being very victorious in her pursuits. I see her being very instrumental in supporting Mamdani and improving the welfare of people in her immediate community soon. I feel like there's some really positive sweeping changes that are about to take effect, and that New York is going to be a shot across the bow for the rest of the country. That the counter action to all of this destruction is revving up. I feel that someone in a close circle is going to be so delighted at Christmas. She is working on some really beautiful pieces at the moment with her knitting. There are some people close to her that are going to be very moved by her generosity. All right, what is going on here? So, it's like the paint starts telling a story. It's like a bloodshot eye. Poor thing. Let's put some eye drops in there. She has great stamina, but needs to keep fueled on her vitamins. This is like not coming out as beautifully as I thought it would, so I really feel like that's important that I get some, like, smooth it out a bit, because I feel like what I'm seeing is different from what's coming out. I'm seeing a beautiful face, and what's coming out is someone who looks quite exhausted. Which I'm sure is so true. How she must yearn for some normalcy sometimes to escape. But I do feel she derives a lot of pleasure from being such a prominent I want to say flag flyer for hope. She is a very strong symbol of hope and productivity. Once again, I'm feeling her feeling very humbled to be in this position. She doesn't take it for granted. She does not dwell in self-pity. She dwells in the eye of the storm. She is that peacefulness in the eye of the storm. She's like that sculpture of the girl standing in the wind defiantly in front of the bull. Do you know that sculpture that I'm referring to in New York? Outside the New York Stock Exchange, I think. That's her. Gleeful in the analytics. Gleeful in challenging the bad news. In bringing charisma to it. Sometimes she thinks about what her life would be if she wasn't called to this. If things were going well, it's almost like she was activated, like Wonder Woman was suddenly activated and called to duty. And sometimes she wonders about what her life would look like and where she would put this like drive and ambition. Like, would she be, would she end up in a similar position anyway? Or was this really the moment? But it's hard for her to imagine because her life has really unfolded before her very eyes, and there are people in her world that are so deeply meaningful to her that she wouldn't have encountered if it wasn't for this. She loves feeling this immense purpose in her life. She feels that it's really a gift. And her prayer of thanks is the way that she shows up for her people. She can't see them, but she can feel all of the thousands of spirits that are around her day and night, supporting her, encouraging her, inspiring her, protecting her. She has a lot to give, but in this life she has a lot to receive as well. She is majestic, and her accolades are coming. It's not now. Right now she's still embroiled in this very drawn out battle. But it is going to settle down, and she is going to find calm in her life. She is going to be able to switch gears. And she's going to move into more of a mentor situation. This process of cutting her teeth and learning to be the sophisticated warrior on the ground is an arduous process, but it's leading her towards pulling others up. And she's teaching by example. And she's lending her grace. All right, well, I'm gonna let this dry and then I'm gonna come back to it and touch it up with some nice little spots of red. Let's see if I can just put a couple in here as well. There's something so gorgeous about the color that she chooses. It's a beautiful ruby red. So I just want to punctuate that a little bit more. I'm going to come back and refine it when it's dried a little bit. Thank you so much for watching this. And yeah, this video was very sort of career focused, wasn't it? But I really feel like that's where she is. She's fully immersed. This is her life at this moment. It's going to change. It's going to get more colorful. It's going to get more airy and roomy once things start opening up and evening out. But until then, she's in active duty. This is her calling. She's poised, she's focused, she's fully engaged. And I look forward to seeing her blossom, and in her 40s and 50s, she's gonna unfurl even more gifts and become even more of a mentor and have more space in her life. And how wonderful that she's lending so much attention and energy on behalf of so many right now. All right, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.